Welcome to Faith in Vegas, presented by KEEN TV 17, a program to inspire and inform our viewers about the unique community in which we live.
Hi, and welcome to Faith in Vegas. I'm your host, David Lee, and today we have Tim Berends. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Real quick, I know you're in a ministry, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the ministry that you're in?
Absolutely. I'll be happy to do that. But first, let me say, when I would hear evangelists or pastors talk about what the Lord had done through them, it always sounded like they were bragging. And then I came across a verse in Acts 14:27 one day. It talked about the disciples. When the church came together, they rehearsed all the things the Lord had done through them. Mm-hmm. And anything I've done is what the Lord has done through me. It's nothing, oh, he's bold, he's awesome. You know, it's what Jesus Christ has done through me. But my father was a Baptist minister, and he had 9 years of college and education, college and seminary, and I just struggled so much in school. And I just, you know, people would ask me, are you going to be a minister like your father? And I'd say, that's the last thing I'm going to be. And finally, when the Lord got a hold of my life, I got into Christian broadcasting through a series of miracles. And when I was walking downstairs at KHOF, which is now KKLA in Glendale, California, the Lord said to me, remember when you said you'd never be a preacher? I said, yeah. He says, what do you think you're doing now? So, but then when I came to Las Vegas about 11 years ago, I saw the importance of getting tracts to the people here in Las Vegas. My father used to hand out tracts as a Baptist minister, and I remember one time I was about 14 or 15, we pulled into a gas station, and Dad said, Tim, get a tract out of the glove compartment for our gas station attendant friend. And I said, do we have to hand a tract to everybody? Well, I've been doing this now for 11 years, and it's just been such a joy. So many times I don't feel like going out and doing it, but boy, once I do, I feel the presence of God. And so I realized that John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist Church, once said, a tract is the easiest way to reach a sinner. This is what we call a tract here. This is what we'll be handing out in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago here shortly. This is what we give to our Muslim friends, or people that we might think sympathetic to Muslims. And then this is what for our black friends. WhatsApp will also give out a tract called Unforgiven. You can see it at chick.com. But that's what I do. And I'll stand on the bridge, the Excalibur Bridge, New York Bridge, or a lot of times it's down on Fremont Street Experience, since I got skin cancer now, trying to get tracts to people. And people are coming from all over the world. I had a former Calvary Chapel pastor tell me, he said, you know, Jesus told us to go into the world and preach the gospel to every creature, but we don't have to do that here in Vegas. The world comes to us. We had 41 million visitors here last year, David, and what an opportunity we have as Christians to get the word out. So that's what I try to do. I've been in 18 border towns in Mexico with my friend Mike Cahill. We've been to 13 Central and South American capitals, getting tracts to our Roman Catholic friends, a tract called Mary's Kids. And we've been to Israel 9 times, getting tracts to the Jews and the Muslims in Ramallah and Jericho and Hebron. And it's just been an exciting journey.
Wow. So you mentioned having spent time in Glendale, California. What brought you to Las Vegas?
Well, I was working for a radio station in St. Louis, KJSL. I did a morning program with Al Gross, Mornings with Tim and Al, and we had been let go. And so I thought, what am I going to do? My sister called up. She said, why don't you come out to us in Martinsburg, West Virginia, and you can stay with us. And I thought, okay. I didn't know what I was going to do, because I just felt the Lord, you know, Christian ministry is where I needed to be. And while I was living with her and her husband, Mark, he said, why don't you apply for a corrections officer position? You can retire in 5 years. So I applied and was hired in Martinsburg, West Virginia, $22,000 a year. I was the oldest one in my class. I was supposed to do 29 push-ups, and I did them real short. The guys, well, it should be deeper than that, but we'll let it go. But while I was working there as a corrections officer, I was in the tower one night, and I was going through the inmates' religions, find out what religions they were. I saw that this one fellow was a Wiccan, and I thought, I'll send him a copy of Dr. Morey's tract, Letter to a Witch. You can see it at faithdefenders.com.
Yeah.
And but I thought, instead of sending the tract, I'll write it out, because if somebody is checking the mail and they're down on tracks. So I wrote it out, and I put a phony, phonetically, someone who cares. And then, but I wrote it on some goofy looking stationery, and I had showed another CO the stationery. Well, two days later, I'm in the tower, and I'm seeing this inmate show this letter to this fellow I had showed the stationery to, and I thought, oh no. The captain calls me in, he said, Officer Berends, we could be in real trouble here. We could be sued. I said, I'll quit. And so that's when I quit, and I thought, what am I going to do? I was talking to Jack Young, who used to be part of the Halfway House ministry with Clegg Seth and myself and Armando Bernstein in Hollywood. And Jack said, why don't you call Clegg in Vegas? I said, Clegg in Vegas? So I called Clegg. He had an extra room, and so that's came in like 2005. So.
Now, I heard that you pass out 100,000 tracts here in this area. Now, can you tell us some of the challenges you face while doing that here?
Well, here it's Las Vegas is more difficult because people are being handed stuff all the time. So a lot of times when I hand out the tracts to people, if I'm on a bridge or downtown in Fremont Experience, I'll say it's free, it's not porn, because they're being handed porn all the time and things of this nature. For a long time, I tried to give tracts to families, and they would turn me down, and one day I just felt impressed to give it to the kids. And because I remember that verse, a little child shall lead them. And so I would give it to little Susie, who's holding on to Mommy's hand. I'll say, give this to Mommy. And I see that little hand reach up 9 times out of 10 and give it to Mommy. Sometimes I say, give this to Mommy, tell her it's not porn. Now, I would never say that anywhere else but Las Vegas, but it seems to work here. But so that's in, excuse me, it's easier, a whole lot easier, I have found, to hand out tracts in economically depressed sections. Like we went to Nickerson Gardens in Southern California. Practically everybody took a tract. But I go to Beverly Hills, maybe only 2 or 3 people take a tract. As one pastor once said, it's pretty hard to pray, give us this day our daily bread, when you can buy the bakery. So when people are in need, they're more open to the Lord. I'll look for things about the person that will set them apart. If they have an M&M bag, they've come from the M&M factory, I'll say, this is free for everyone who loves M&Ms. And, oh, why? The word free. So I just look for something, this is free for everyone who's wearing glasses today, or whatever, whatever. And kids, for teenagers, you hold it up in front of them, look both ways, and say, don't let the cops catch you reading this. And of course, they'll have it read in 4 minutes. I read that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, on that note, we got to take a short break.
Sure.
We'll be right back. I'll see you when you come back. Hey, welcome back. I'm still here with Tim. Tim, still here? Awesome. Now, we were just talking about how you pass out tracts here in Vegas and some of the challenges. Not only do you pass out tracts in Vegas, but you also go to dangerous parts of the world. Tell me some about the testimonies.
We've been to Israel 9 times with my friend Mike Cahill. He's a pilot. And Janie Hanning's gone with us a few times. At first, when Mike brought her up, I thought, Jesus sent him out in 2s, but she's been great at reaching the Muslim women and the Orthodox Jewish women with tracts. And in our society, we don't think anything of that, but over there, it's pretty important. But we've handed out a tract called Love the Jewish People, and it gives the history of anti-Semitism and gives the Messianic prophecies. People can read that at chick.com. But for the Muslims, about 6 years ago, I was at the Wax Museum, and I thought, I'm going to get my picture taken with President Obama and wearing my I Love Muslim shirt and show him the tract Allah Had No Son, which is this one here. And just as a joke. Now, I wore this the I Love Muslim shirt. We used to wear that to Dearborn for the Arabic festival, and then on the back of the shirt, it would have John 9:35-38. That's where Jesus says he's the Son of God. And he asked the Muslim, well, when do prophets lie? He referred to himself several times as the Son of God. And so I just did that as a joke. And then I thought, what would happen if we took this picture into some of the Muslim areas of Israel, and on the back of the picture put, to read all I had no son, go to chick.com. So we went into Jericho, and we had about 500 of these pictures. And I didn't know what was going to happen. We had no idea what would happen. And I was confessing every sin I had ever committed twice. And the three of us went in, and we started handing out the pictures, and we could not hand them out fast enough, David.
Oh, wow.
The Muslims would say, "You, Obama?" And I'd say, "Wax Museum." I didn't go into detail, you know. And we could not, it was just amazing. Then we went over to Hebron, and did the same thing there.
Yeah.
2 years later, Mike and I, and Christine White was with us then, and Janie, and Mike and I, we went into Ramallah. Ramallah is the headquarters of the PLO. That's where Yasser Arafat lived. That's where they have his grave. In fact, when we went into Ramallah, and I was scared to death, because when you enter into Ramallah, there's a big sign that says, this area is forbidden by Israeli citizens.
Yeah.
You could be killed. You know, it's in Hebrew, Arabic, and English. And so we went in, we asked the cab driver, what's there to see in Ramallah? He said, well, there's Yasser Arafat's grave. And I said, okay, let's see that. And so we went over there and saw that. As we were coming back, I said, let's stop the car and hand them out here. And so we started handing them out. I went across the street, and I started walking down the street, and I had forgotten that I had walked down the street, and I started looking for the cab. I thought, oh no, they're probably pulling the nails out of Mike's hands right now. But then I found him and everything. We were able to get all the. But this is 2 years after we had done it in Jericho. I was concerned. I thought, boy, what if they have told people in Ramallah? And it was a simple thing, but you think once they go to their computers,
yeah,
and they can read the gospel, and we're out of there. And so, but we've also we just got back from Tegucigalpa, Honduras. If you look on the internet about Honduras, they say don't even be on the streets in Tegucigalpa during the day. And we went there. We did not see one tourist. I'm not talking just American tourists. We didn't see one tourist on the streets of Tegucigalpa. But I think it's my favorite country. People were so open. The guard at our hotel had an Uzi, a submachine gun, and but people were so open. We were told, do not go into the marketplace. Well, when you tell us not to do something, it's like my dad. I'm the oldest of six. When Dad would be driving, he'd say, "Children, do not turn around, but there's a police officer following us." And of course, what do all the kids do, you know? And I think it took me years to figure out, Dad was probably speeding, and he wanted the cop to see that the car was full of kids so he'd get a break from the cop.
Yeah.
So, people were so open. They told us about the marketplace, not to go to the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Well, we saved that for last. And the cab driver was so worried about us going into the marketplace. They've had kidnappings there and thefts and things like that. He parked the car about a block away and went in with us. And people were so open. Now, we didn't buy anything there, so that probably helped not getting ripped off. But people were so open. One pastor came up to us and said, "Do you have This Was Your Life?" That's the Chick track, This Was Your Life. We were handing out Mary's Kids. You can read it at chick.com.
Yeah.
And just thought that was so awesome. But people were so open, and we had no problems at all getting the gospel out. When we went into the airport, when we were leaving, in the old westerns, when the good guy, James Arness, would walk into the saloon, the piano player would stop playing, the people would just stop, everybody be quiet. That was like that. We were the only American coming into the airport. But people were so wonderful. So be able to get the tracks out. The people that are the most open are the police I have found in these places, and it's just amazed me at how God has used us.
Oh my goodness. I have a few more questions, but before I get into that, let's take a quick break.
Sure.
So we'll be right back, guys. See you in a bit.
Okay.
And we're back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We were just talking with Tim about how you went to these places and where you thought things could have got rough, but it didn't. Was there a time where it did get rough?
Well, one thing that's motivated me is what Jesus said, do not fear those that can kill the body. Fear him who can cast body and soul into hell. As we're doing this interview, a week from this coming Monday, myself, Dave Casper, and Billy Anderson and I are going to go into the 3 worst parts of the south side of Chicago. Something could easily happen to us there. But there is a rush that comes about when we do, you're right in the center of God's will. And one reason why I do what I do has been motivated by what an atheist told me. And I had been witnessing to Penn Jillette at Penn and Teller, and I'd been giving him videos and CDs and things. One day I got him a Ray Comfort Evidence Bible, and with his name on it, black leather and everything. And I went in a week later and I said, Penn, have you read any of the Bible I got you? And he's the same height I am, and he said, I've read the Bible 4 times. Have you read the Bible? And I almost lied to him because I've struggled. I've maybe read 6 books in my life. I have a form of dyslexia, and I listen to the Bible a lot. And I said, no, I've had a reading disability, and he just walked away. And I then went in. I went out to my car after I had talked to him, and I told my sister, I saw that she had called from Michigan. I called her back, told her what happened. She said, oh, Tim, you need to go to Penn Jillette, go to YouTube and type in Penn Jillette and the gift of a Bible. And so I did, and he was talking about a guy. He told me he was going to talk. He talked about me on video, but he talking about a guy that had given him a New Testament. I checked with him as the Bible, but he said, I'm an atheist. He said, but I don't have any problem with believers proselytizing, witnessing, because if I really believed in heaven and I really believed in hell, how badly would I have to hate somebody not to tell them? And so that's part of what motivates me when I'm out there. Of course, Jesus said that's the main motivation. Jesus said, but if I really believe in heaven and if I really believe in hell, it's important for me to tell others. I was doing an interview with Robert Schuller one time, and I said, Dr. Schuller, I've enjoyed many of your positive sermons, but I've never heard you preach any sermons on hell. He said, I was raised in Hope, Michigan with that hellfire and brimstone stuff. I just don't ride that bus. I said, well, Jesus talked more about hell than anybody else in the Bible. Yeah. He said a servant's not greater than his master. I said, do you have a better approach than Jesus? And he said, well, maybe one of these days I'll have a sermon on hell. But that's what motivates me. That's what gets me going when I'm out there. I'm thinking, man, these people are a heartbeat away from not just, they'll be resting in peace for all eternity, which is what people are lied to at funerals. He's resting in peace. No, he's either in eternal torment or he's with the Lord. Yeah. And I tell people the scariest word in the Bible is the word few. Jesus said, broad is the road that leads to destruction. Many there go thereat. Narrow is the road that leads to life eternal, and few there be that find it. And there are people watching us right now who are depressed. They're watching TV all the time, and they go, I know I love the Lord, but I'm just so depressed. I used to, when I would go into the nursing homes, and I didn't want to go into the nursing homes, but when I came out, I noticed each time that when I did, I was floating on air. And one day I came across Isaiah 58:10. It says, when you satisfy the desire of the afflicted, your gloom will become like midday. Instead of taking the pills out there for depression, if people would get into the nursing homes or go where the Lord is directing them, He will guide them. But that's the key. Just Southside, there's going to be when we get out of the car and head toward the gangs, there's going to probably be some fear, but you're going to have such a rush too. You think you can't threaten a Christian with heaven. You shoot me, I'm home with the Lord. And I'll miss Obama's 3rd term. So I don't worry about stuff like that. I just stay focused on getting the word out.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in the ministry in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I'm praying that I'll be able to have 10 more years with my friend Mike Cahill. And I'm 70 now, and that'd put me at 80. And even if I get Alzheimer's, Lord, just have somebody stick me on a bridge handing out tracts. It doesn't take a whole lot to hand out tracts. I do a radio program. People can hear that at jesusandandtim.org. Click on archive and schedule. Mark Britton puts that together every week, does a great job. And then Dave Peffley puts the newsletter. Just click on newsletter to read about that. But that's what I want to be doing. I just don't want to be pastoring a church. I don't have the patience for that, and I don't have the brains. But I can hand out tracts, you know, and that's the joy. We had a fella at our church. He's home with the Lord now. His name was Al York, and his dipstick wasn't touching oil. But I asked him one day, I says, Al, you want to hand out tracts? He says, yeah. So I took him, I put him on the MGM bridge between MGM and New York, and I gave him 50 tracts, 50 chick tracts. And I said, I'll check back with you later, just touch base when you get these handed out, meet me back over here. And so about 2 hours later, I hadn't seen him, I hadn't heard from him. Yeah. So I went over there, and I see him trying to get tracts to people, and a lot of people turning him down. And I said, Al, do you have any tracts left? He says, yeah, he had 8 tracts left. He had handed out 42 tracts in 2 hours. Now, it takes me about 300 tracts in an hour. I can hand out about 300 tracts. A child could do 500, 600. But I said, Al, do you want to go downtown and hand out some more tracts? He says, yes. And I thought, how easy it would have been to be discouraged, to have all that rejection. Because you think about that sometimes, you get 8 or 9 rejections, but then you think about the one person who takes it. You think they could have lost all their money in the casino, ready to blow their brains out, and here the gospel saves them. And the word will not return void. I've seen only 2 people come to the Lord in the 11 years I've been doing this. But the Lord told me one night, I was missing my grandson, and the Lord said, would you rather see Ethan, or would you rather see 10,000 souls in heaven, or would you rather see Ethan every day? So I know there's going to be thousands of souls in heaven, not just meeting me, but anyone who's witnessed and handed out tracts, because we have no idea what that tract's going to do after that person has received it. I wish every pastor would tell people to get involved in handing out tracts. Yeah, a tract, as I said before, is the easiest way to approach a sinner, as John Wesley once said.
That is true. That is true.
Amen.
Oh, man. Thank you so much,
Thank
Tim.
you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
David.
thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
And you guys heard right there. If you guys want to help Tim Berends and his ministry, please contact him in the information listed right here. And thank you once again for watching the show. And thank you one more time, Tim,
thank you, David,
for being on the show.
Great job.
One more shake.
Thank you, brother. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Aloha.
Thanks for watching Faith in Vegas, a presentation of KEEN TV 17. We hope you've enjoyed today's program, and we'd love to hear your comments and suggestions for the show. You can contact KEEN TV 17 at the address on the screen.